Good morning, bonjour, wache. My name is Nicole Guertin. I'm the director of Cultural Crossroads, and thank you for taking time to listen to me this morning to see how um, your passion can be turned into an experience. I know many of you have already been doing that with the Tourism Museum. We just want to show you and offer how we can help you um, develop those experience on a continuing basis and you deciding when you want to do them. So first thing before we start, I'd like to acknowledge that here in Northeastern Ontario, where the project is being spearheaded, we are on the lands of the Algonquin, Cree, Ojibwe. And we thank them for keeping this land so pristine for thousands of years. And we are very happy that with this project, Cultural Crossroad, we are trying to do things in a good way and include the First Nation communities because this is the type of experiences that visitors and communities want to have. So maybe in the next 15, 20 minutes, I'd like to present to you what's the project and how it could be of interest to you. Thank you, Karen, for giving me opportunity to reach out to your collaborators. This is the biggest difficulty in our project is reaching out to people because people that are passionate and have expertise often don't see what they have. So we need other people around them to help them. So Karen's a kind of our passion scout. So there's really two main objectives in this project. The first one is to develop 101 experiences. And this project is now from Nord Bay all the way up to Constance Lake. But it's also to create more welcoming communities, using those experiences to get for people to connect. We know if people spend more than 10 minutes together and they collaborate, they have a common goal, it helps remove biases. So that's what we're trying to do. So I've talked to you about the region. So the first phase was really from Temagami to Constance Lake, but we've added North Bay, Mattawa, and might be going a little bit bigger. So really we have 202 experience to develop between now and next spring. So we're able to do that because there's myself, but we also have a team of 10 people. Some are part-time, like Sylvie Lamotte in Timmins, that probably many of you know and have been helping the participants. You will see some of the people that we've been working with for the last few months. So all of this to support you is free because we have been able to get funding from different government level, but also we were able to obtain money from Desjardins from their Catalyst Fund. We're the only project outside of Quebec that got funding to that. So we're very proud that we've been able to get their help. So what are the problems we're trying to address? Well, there's the obvious one regarding new tourism products because we're trying to develop 101 experience. The market is changing. People are not just coming to Northern Ontario to fish, hunt, and snowmobile. They want to connect with locals. They want to connect with the artists. So this is why your group is so important. Also, our population is aging and declining. We need more people in our community. In Timmins, you do have a lot of international students, but how do we get them to be part of the community that they want to stay? Because we need those immigrants to help with jobs. Businesses are already finding a difficulty finding workers. It's going to be even more. And we know when we started this project a year ago, this was before Black Lives Matters, we had trouble saying racism. We were talking about bias perception, but now it's clear that we have racism in our community and Timmins is not different. I know you've been trying a lot of different things to address this issue. So we feel that experiences can be one of the tools that can be used. And with the pandemic, we've seen a lot of new people moving in the community. Well, how do we get them included in the community? By themselves developing an experience, or by them attending an experience, they get to connect with and they might share some of their interests, and you can lead them to other people to harness their passion to get them involved in the community. So there's really three pillars to develop an experience. And I know most of you have done some kind of online experience, or you're doing craft artwork. So this is, I think, an easy one for you. But anyways, I'll go through it. So there's three things. You need to have an expertise, a passion to be able to share with people. And most people have some kind of passion. So sometimes you just need to look a little bit further, or sometimes you need to connect different passions that you have, but never really thought of putting them together. And you also need to have inside access. If you go to the museum and it's a tour on your own, that is not what we call an experience. However, if you are talking about prospecting and you're bringing them to the museum, seeing the exhibition, and then going out on your prospect where you've prospected, well, then that becomes an experience, because nobody could do it on their own without you. And you have that connection. Those people, those guests that you're going to be hosting, they're going to arrive as strangers, but by the time you spend 3 to 4 hours with them, they come out as friends. So that's what we want to do, make that connection. So their trip to Northern Ontario, or just their experience for the day, has been very meaningful. So how can developing an experience help you? Well, maybe you already have a product or service. So in that case, it's more how to promote your service. I always compare marketing to having a home. Every time, if you're on Facebook, that opens a window in your home. If you're doing an experience, it opens a door. So this is a window, a door to let more people come in and know about your services. If you might not have developed, or you might have worked with the museum at one time or another to do a online event, but this is a way here to see how you can be the driver of that experience. You're the one, you're a micro entrepreneur. We show you how to do that. So you decide when you have it, not just when the museum decides to hire you. So if you want to do it once a week and you get clients to do it, you can offer your experience once a week. And you're very lucky that with the museum, you have that base where maybe people can meet you. Maybe part of your experience can be there. It's free. Most museums, there's a fee, so you would need to include that in the price. But because it's free, it doesn't increase the price of your experience too much. It's also a place where there's washroom facilities. So all of those positive make it much easier for you to develop the experience. Why this is a good time? Well, as I mentioned before, the pandemic has shifted travel patterns. This year, people are not going to go to Europe. They're not going to go to the States. They're going to want to stay here. Hopefully, the borders from the Quebec will also be open by the end of June. So those Quebecers don't want to go to Montreal. So this is the summer where we have an opportunity to get people coming into Northern Ontario. Experiences are small groups. Many of them will be offered outside. For you, it might be one part in the museum, or again, it could even be outside at the museum or out in the forest, and you just meet there. At least you have, like I mentioned, washroom facilities. People are looking to connect with nature and live meaningful experiences. And this is what you can offer. And they want to connect with locals. They want to see how things are done. And also now you have a support of our team to help you. We really have an amazing team, a bilingual team that can help you if you have trouble writing, or you need help with photos, or whatever your needs are, will help you. And you're also going to be part of a bigger group. We have right now about 50. We started with many people because we know it takes a lot of people to start before you get to an experience. And that's a normal process. Sometimes people hear about it, but they're not ready. It might come out a bit later. But we have about 50 people right now that are in the process of developing an experience. So these are the steps. I don't want to go too much into it, but what I want to show you is that we did a pilot project in Timmins last year, and we realized that it's not that easy. When I started, there was only 6 experience on Airbnb from starting in North Bay all the way to the Manitoba border. So what we've done, we've developed this incubator to show what are the steps and how we can help you along the way to help you make it to the end. So number 1, this is the Passion Scout. So this is Karen that is sending you this video, and she knows that you have the expertise, passion to develop an experience. So you recruit participants, that's you here at number 2, and you're listening to the video, and we're inviting you to come for a Q&A on June 8th. So where you can share what your passion is and what's your ideas. And then we move you through these different steps. We get you to do a profile survey, which is we evaluate passion, entrepreneurship, and time. So sometimes you might be very passionate, you want to do this, but you just don't have time. So it might be later. So that little survey might take you 15 minutes to complete, helps us see where we need to help you. And it also helps us judge. We have an hypothesis that the higher people score on that survey, the more chances they have to complete an experience. So experiences, what are they? Well, you have a good idea because most of them you have done something. So they can be on many themes. We're working with Airbnb because they have developed over 45,000 experience. This was in-person experience before the pandemic. They have shifted online very quickly the first few weeks of the pandemic. And now people can do it online or in person. So this is something you might want to consider. You're going to see our partners. We did this online campaign, Ride the Third Wave. It was a way to get our participants to get out and start offering experience during the confinement. But we've seen a lot of value for online experiences. So I think many of them are going to continue, even when they do in person, to do online, because this is a great way to promote yourself. It only costs your time. So these are the different categories. We're going to go through them and see how they can be applied for your group here. You'll see I did a search on Airbnb in Timmins. So right now there's no results found. Hopefully in the next few weeks, we should start having at least 5 or 6 experiences in Timmins with the group that have worked with Sylvie. So people are just in the process of getting them accepted. So this is just a screenshot of some of the experience. We had 28 different online experience offered between 3 to 4 times, during the month of May. So in arts and culture, I've just was scanning through your Facebook page this morning and took some photos. Very impressive, all of the work that was done at the museum in the last year during the pandemic. A lot of organization froze during the pandemic, but I can see that wasn't the case for the Timmins Museum. So you've done a great job. So how can some of those online experiences that you've developed become in person, connect with the museum, or maybe just continue offering them online? But the idea is that we're trying to, at this time, all of these were free. What we want as an entrepreneur, you're going to need to pay for, not pay, but people need to pay to attend those experiences. And that's one of the big jobs we're doing with our participants, is trying to get them to recognize their value and what they're worth and keep it pretty standard across the board. Airbnb are going to start doing that from other experience, also helping you evaluate what your experience should be. The more you get testimonials, the higher the price of the experience can become. There's really a very big need for Indigenous experiences. We know it's more difficult for the Indigenous community to develop experiences. You have gone through so much racism. It's very hard to think people want to pay to come and spend time with you, but they do. And I really feel that everybody in Northern Ontario should be doing one experience with an Indigenous person to help reduce racism and really understand. This is Lynn Cormier. She's our Indigenous intern, and she can support also your development. So hopefully some of you might be interested. You could also co-host. That's what we're seeing with the Indigenous community, that it might be easier to be, you might be a few leaders that want to develop an experience, and then one of you or maybe a few of you offer the experience, but if one can't be there, then you have a group. So that can be an interesting way of doing it. Food and drink. Well, everybody loves eating, and that's really something that brings people together. There's also, how do you put part of your experience a food or drink component? Sometimes it could be a cedar tea. This is Anna doing her Australian scone, and this is a photo of Elisa doing her Finnish baking. We have some, in Timmins, there's in East Indian that have moved, and they have such a variety of culture. Lots of opportunities there in Timmins to develop experiences around there. Wellness. I'm very surprised to see how many wellness experiences are being developed. And this is what people are looking. So you might be a yoga instructor. How to come out of your regular practice and offer an added value? Is it yoga at High Park? I'm not sure. I've never been to High Falls, even if it would be possible. This is yoga at Devil's Rock. There's forest bathing. We have Amy Lavoie from Timmins that is developing an experience around that. But this is the type of things people are looking for. Entertainment. I'm sure you have a lot of artists. How can we include that for them to do music, maybe in their home, maybe at the museum, maybe outdoor, just thinking outside the box. You have some writers. How can maybe a walking tour or part of it going to the museum that attaches their knowledge of what they're reading, what their expertise on the subject, as gold smuggling. I think an experience on that would be very interesting. And I see here, Nikki had done a collage on historical. Well, how could that be part that maybe it's a walking tour and then you come back and you do the collage? Sports, we have here Jean-Pierre Rivet. The Halebury Golf Course is going to be 100 years old this summer, just right now in June. And he's developed an experience around that. We have Mylène, she's our youngest at 17 years old. We're also working with a group of students out of Mattawa. There are 28 students out in an outdoor program developing an experience. So we'll see how many, I mean, this is part of their course, but I'm looking forward to see how many will come out and experience that can be offered this summer. Nature outdoors can be a photography experience of going to take photos of the mine shafts. This is a villa, a trapper. Could be a trapper or prospector that brings people out in the forest, and they have so much knowledge. This is one of your own, Joanne Burton, that has developed an experience with her alpaca, which she was already doing a walk. But this online experience has brought a whole new option for Joanne, where people are seeing her out in her alpacas very close. Then she brings them to her studio, and then she has an online store that people can go and buy. So we've seen that happen in the last few weeks. So usually we have a 5-week program. People spend about an hour and a half online, and then we meet as a group. Many of you have already developed an experience, so you might not need to do all of those steps, but you might want to, because maybe you say, I have an experience, but I'd like to do something different, so I'd like to get the support. So when you come to the Q&A, this is an opportunity for you to kind of share where you're at, and we can see how we can help you, try to connect you within a group. Then we help you upload your experience on 101 Experience. And then depending if you have insurance or not, if you need to promote it through Airbnb, they offer $1 million US liability insurance. So if you were maybe doing something in the museum about prospecting, but you would like to bring people out in the forest and feel you would need to have an insurance, well, this is where we help you upload it on Airbnb, but we can still then promote it on 101 Experience. We do Passion Fair. So this is an online event where we get groups, and then we divide them in subgroups, and you get to pitch your idea to 3 or 4 people. In 5 minutes, they give you feedback. Then we take you out of that group, we put you in another group, you pitch again. And you do that 4 or 5 times in about an hour and a half. What that does, it gives you confidence, gives you feedback, people tell you. It's been a very strong aspect of the project. People are really getting out of there very confident and ready to continue. We've lost a lot of participants before the Passion Fair because people were not confident to be able to present to a group. But if you're not comfortable presenting to a group, well, you're probably not ready yet to do an experience. But once you've gone through that and you're ready, then most of our participants have continued. So for the marketing, as I mentioned, we have Airbnb that people can upload. Airbnb have changed in the last few weeks. It's much quicker. We've now have people being accepted within 24 hours. And then on the right is the 101 Experience. So what we do that's a bit different from a tourism website, we do not promote businesses, we promote individuals. So sometimes a business might say we want to be promoted, and we're like, okay, but who's the person that's going to give the experience? That's the person we want to promote. So here you see Emma, which is from Timmins, and she does a forest therapy guide. So very good experience. So we're excited to be working with Emma. So, and if you're, and this website is completely bilingual. And this is important because I think Timmins has a huge opportunity to get people, well, just Northeastern Ontario, from Hearst to Cochrane. There's a big group of Francophone, but Abitibi-Témiscamingue is huge. And Timmins has never really went to get that market, but I think this would be the summer for you to target. So for the ones that are bilingual, it would be important to upload your experience also on the French side. So next step is for you to attend the Q&A session. We're going to have it at on June 8th at 4:30. In the email, you've got the Zoom link, so you don't need to confirm. You can just, if at 4:15 you think you want to join, please join. We're going to have it one way or the other, even if there's just one of you showing up. To develop an experience, it's one person at a time. We've learned that. We've been working very hard in the last year, but really 6 months since November that we're starting working with individuals. And it's very exciting to see what's happening and being part of the movement and seeing participants now becoming hosts and being comfortable and helping others. So hope you have fun sharing your passion this summer with Tourism Timmins, Tourism Museum, and we want to be there to support you. So Miigwech, thank you, merci, and hopefully we see you on June 8th, or maybe it'll be later. We're going to have other groups starting in the fall, and then the last group will be starting winter of next year. Thank you. Have a great day.